All right, let's go. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Ears to the East. And I know when you clicked on this video how excited you are. Really excited to talk about this topic too. See, so we're going to talk about some really popular music because of the fact that I know deep down that when people, we can see when we look on the stats on our videos, that when people click on videos, they click on videos about the bands they love. And so this video is about, well,
and this video is going to get 10 views.
Exactly.
This is about songs that sound a bit like bands you love. So,
really stretching it, mate. You're really stretching.
All right, look, here's the thing, guys. So, I want to talk to you a little bit about your favorite metal music. What metal music do you think people really liked, Benedict? What music do you think, metal music, do you think people really click on? What do you think brought people to this video today? Baby metal, that's right, baby metal. So if you're a big baby metal fan, I'm sure you will like the brand.
Not really. Howard is forcing us to find similar sounds to our songs, which
no one will click on it otherwise. No one will click on this video.
So basically, in this
music you've never heard.
I know. Basically, in this video, we've decided to put all our experience. You've listened to.
You will never listen to again.
You've listened to hundreds of episodes of us critiquing music, and this is a week where not only has Howard produced and written a song, but Benedict and myself have also released music. Yeah, I know, shock.
We're going to talk about our own music. It's like 3 Mormons came to your door and started trying to sell you the Bible.
Listen to my song.
Well,
have you
Bible
heard
is
about
arguably a better product.
All right, so we gotta sell this. We gotta sell this because the thing. Here's the thing: if you've been watching this channel, I mean, we love the bands we talk about, and we love the bands because of the fact that they inspire us. So every musician is inspired by music, but we all have our musical pursuits as well.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, we actually are really. I am basically just listening to that stuff that I have on my channel, like all these Japanese bands. I'm not listening to a lot more, so that's basically. I mean, obviously, we have our past and how we grew up, but that's the current influence.
Yeah, so we want to see how you guys at home feel about our music, knowing what we like and knowing that obviously we share a lot of the same musical likes as you guys do. So we want to see how you would feel about our music, and hopefully you'll enjoy it as well. And they're all very different takes. So first of all, we have to. I want to talk about Benedict's one first of all, because I have done a reaction for this. Now you haven't seen my reaction video to it, but I want to
like our collab song or my individual thing.
Well, I've heard your individual music before, but the collab song was the one that I think you wanted us to talk
about. But I had
today,
one little individual snippet with.
Dude, can you decide which song you want to talk about? What song are we talking about? This video is going terribly. I need some water.
Let's talk about Shinka Suru Doragon by Neon Reaper and myself.
Why did you put yourself second? It's your song.
Your song, yeah. It's featuring Neon Reaper.
It's our song. It's our song.
We're the
if
worst
you don't know, I already put
ever.
out the song as my own, like I think half a year ago, and it was like just an instrumental version. And then Neon came along and said he has some ideas for vocals and lyrics. So yeah, I completely reworked the song and tried to make it more interesting, sound better. And then Neon put on his, in my opinion, awesome vocals. I think if you read some of the comments,
I've read some of the comments, like my heart hit.
But don't take it too hard, man.
Really?
Because
no,
I really think some of I think really my viewers, they are not big fan of harsh vocals in general. That's just it.
I must admit, so basically my vibe about the song was the and I listened to a demo that you'd done of this before. But I thought that it was interesting because, okay, it's very much in that sort of like hard headbanging metal space, but the song keeps on developing and it's so layered. And there's like, it feels so much more interesting than just chug chug guitar. It's got all the energy of chug chug guitar and like riffing and all that and like heavy beats, but there's so much more progression. And it's the layering though that really works for me. It's the fact that you're never just, I mean, there's some bits which are just straight headbanging, but you don't have to just sit there and going, oh, what riff's coming next? There'll be like bits where like there'll be one thing happening on top and just so much to bring your ears in. So for me, it's like you didn't lose any of that energy, but you maintained this much more interesting flow, which is why genuinely I was saying in my reaction video, I was like, I'm going to be 100% honest, but actually I was like quite surprised how just impressed I was by the whole layering of that. And I must admit,
that makes me quite happy because that was like the intention also with the name of the song, Evolving Dragon. Kind of should sounded like that. So yes, success.
I think that was the hardest challenge because when I heard the song originally, obviously it was an instrumental piece, and through the various versions that Benedict like rehashed it to try and fit some of my vocals in it, it never lost that kind of like that sparkle of that
I think actually
instrumental
is more
core
now than it was before.
And that's kind of what really drew me in. I had fun ruining his song.
What do you think of the vocals, Howard? I know you're also not the biggest fan of harsh vocals.
So I'll be complete. I mean, so I've mentioned this before.
Just harsh vocals, probably.
Yeah, I like it in some things. Now, the one thing I will say, and I mentioned this before when I'd heard some of Neon stuff before, is that I do like the fact that he does it with, there's a punch and a rhythm. It's not just, it's like you can hear him punch, punch, punch with the vocals, which I like. There's a rhythm to it. And also I like the bits where occasionally he breaks out of the shout just to do like a what the fuck kind of vocal.
Totally.
I kind of, in my reaction, my initial reaction was like, oh, that sounds a bit like Fred Durst.
Yes, actually it does.
It's like, I gotta suddenly go like this, and it's like, wow, did it all for the noogie. Come on. But in, like in the same way that, I mean, like the problem with Fred Durst is not his voice, it's the fact that his lyrics are so cringe-inducing. So
stop this.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, we get the joke, dude. You're still talking about shit. So for me, I actually quickly looked back through some of the lyrics as well afterwards because I noticed that the lyrics were written on the screen. By the way, I know that English is your second language, but please with the spelling.
Did I make mistakes?
There were some interesting spellings in there.
Okay, I've sent it to Neon and told him, tell me if you spot any mistakes. He didn't tell me anything.
I thought it was all right, to be honest. I didn't spot any. I'm like the worst English person to ask for spelling mistakes, though, to be fair.
Actually, do you know what, though? I just found the whole thing was like, it was just so engagingly fun. And this is the thing which is really hard to like convey. Is like when I listen to music which is headbanging, I don't want it to be sort of like straight face stoic. Whoa. It's like you listen to headbanging music.
I think a lot of people do actually.
Yeah, but the thing is the music is presented that way a lot of the time. It's got this overly serious vibe. It's like when I listen to music that's genuinely headbanging, I want to be grinning from ear to ear, like jumping around like a maniac. That's the vibe, and that's what this song felt like to me.
Did you get any of the references that were in the lyrics, by the way? I had so much fun writing that.
Okay, I'm going to be honest with you.
Kind of need to be in the geek.
Yeah, you need to be a proper geek.
The right person for
that. Tell me, like maybe one of the lyrics that you thought was a reference, and I'll see if I can work it out. Is there a lyric that you can just quote me?
Okay,
I'm really intrigued.
Basically everything.
Well, yeah, basically everything. All right.
I didn't really pay attention to the lyrics when it was on, to be honest, because to be honest, without reading them, you couldn't really tell just by listening because it's that kind of vocal.
Well, probably the most obvious one is unless we roll the one instead. Oh, come on, mate. That's a D&D reference. It's like the most blatantly obvious thing ever.
A D&D reference. You're right, Benedict. I don't stand a chance of getting this.
Have you at least heard of a game called Baldur's Gate 3? One of the most acclaimed games recently.
I know Baldur's Gate, and I know like video game stuff, although I haven't played a lot of these games.
It's a game about the D&D.
D&D.
Really? Is that what it's about?
There's
D&D
a
when people
universe.
D&D was when people sit around a table and like
Exactly.
someone
And
tells
that's
them
a video
just drop
game
stuff in
about
the face.
that.
there's Naruto references in there. There's a Dragon Ball reference in there.
Did you just say Naruto as Naruto?
Naruto, sorry.
It sounded like
Burrito.
burrito.
Naruto.
Burrito the anime.
Burrito.
That's the Mexican version. Naruto.
Ah.
Oh god, no, they're gonna get cancelled again.
I see.
No, there's a Naruto reference in there. There is a Skyrim reference.
Nice.
What else did I put in there? There's so much. There's so much in
GTA
there.
reference.
Yeah.
Where's the GTA?
No, I try to keep it like geeky, like Japanese geeky kind of thing as well. So
Okay. Baldur's Gate? Is that joke? I don't know. Oh, you should have got some Doom references in there. We've all seen your chair.
I know, right?
Yeah, where were the Doom references? But still, no, I've got
Maybe
That's it.
heavier
That's it. Now
track.
I'm gonna write a Doom song.
Oh, there was one
Actually
lyric.
have a riff inspired by
what was-
Doom. I will make it into a song and you can.
Okay, then I stand more of a chance for that. But I need to ask you actually, there was one lyric that I mentioned in my reaction. What was something about, oh my god, her hair's turning blue?
That's a
I
Dragon
didn't
Ball
get that
reference.
at first too. So
Yeah,
granted.
it's because we're in the song. I set it up like we're about to battle, and then that's when I pull it apart and go, "Wait, why the fuck's your hair turning blue?" Is a Dragon Ball Super reference.
And just to reference, I am the one who lives in Japan, apparently. I'm gonna have to just look out the window and double check this.
But you have heard of Dragon Ball, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, obviously I know Dragon Ball. It's
they go Super Saiyan, and
Uh,
I don't know what blue hair is Super Saiyan.
Super
God
Saiyan,
Mode
Super
5
Super
X.
Super Saiyan God Blue.
I feel like I'm being ganged
Almost.
up on by nerds. I love it.
Maybe if I would have said yellow, I think more people would have got it. But yeah.
I just assumed you're turning into
Yeah, well,
Pikachu or something.
maybe not.
I don't know.
Why the fuck your hair's turning blonde?
Yeah, it doesn't roll off the tongue as well, does it?
Can
Stupid.
can I write a death metal song for Neon, which is all just about Nichijou?
Oh, hell yeah.
So I drank the soup and then just like he just screams Mazui, 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 Mazui over and over again.
That-
It was jam, wasn't it? She had 8 jam. It's like Mazui, Mazui, Mazui.
That's always the hardest thing for me. Like the good thing about you two is I feel like you two are like such good songwriters, especially when we've seen Howard's Camera Canada and Asin thing. Like the whole production of that was absolutely brilliant. By the way, I enjoyed
Gracias,
that.
amigo.
And
We
not
can talk
not
about
only
that
that,
next if you want.
but yeah, I was really also impressed with obviously we had a music video for yours, and I was really impressed with the transition shots for that. Like that was amazing.
Like, tell me, Howard, be honest. You were inspired by that one Arno video.
Oh, so now actually, should I tell you what? This is really interesting because I'm really glad you said that. I'm assuming you're talking about F1 Full World.
Yeah, exactly.
I honestly had not thought about that video at all.
Really?
And then when I finished it, I was just sort of subconsciously thinking about a lot of the transition shots, and I was just sort of going through them in my mind. And suddenly that video came into my mind. Obviously, it's one of my favorite videos. So
Yeah.
I had honestly not thought about that, but I think on some subconscious level, I must have been channeling that a little bit.
I thought
You know,
so.
like
It's
when you
even,
write a
it's
song-
not just the transitions, even the little effects for the people on the side, there are some a bit scrambled or stuff like that, some glitch effects.
That was actually slightly copied off of another video that I saw where there was like scribbled lines over people's faces.
Okay.
But yeah, again, what I ended up doing, a lot of the effects that I ended up using were very much ones that I felt were just kind of like ones that I thought aesthetically looked fun. Because I originally was going to do the scribbled over face thing, but then I realized when you do that, it actually makes those people so much more interesting to look at because they look so weird that your eye gets drawn away. So I thought you needed an effect that actually made people less distinct rather than more distinct. You needed something that made them more like disappear into the background or just become part of the glitched out effect of the video rather than something that made them stand out on front of the glitched out effect. But yeah, no, that's really interesting you mentioned that. I had not
For me, it was
thought
like,
that.
yeah, this is definitely inspired by the Arno video, but okay.
Subconsciously,
Maybe
I
that's
think you're probably
subconsciously,
right.
yeah.
I was just really impressed with the quality of it, to be honest. I don't know what I was expecting there, but you definitely blew my expectations out the water with with some of those transition shots. Smooth as fuck. Loved it.
It was, I mean, to be honest, to give you an idea of just how hard that was to do, like, so there's multiple parts
Oh,
Oh,
we lost him a little bit. No, we did
yeah.
have some internet problems before, but
Well, Howard did.
Of the song where
Howard,
we've actually got different videos of them. You got me?
Oh.
Have you got me now?
kind of. You're still
half.
freezing.
Have you got me now? Have you got me now? Have you got me now?
I hear you,
Have you
but
got me now?
you
We hear you, but we can't see you.
Hello,
So
can you hear me?
Yep. Can you hear us?
Oh shit! I think I might have just realised what might be wrong. Hold on a minute.
There we
Bill
go.
got
Keep on
his
talking.
porn downloads going.
Oh, yeah. Like I said before, it's all that hentai he's downloading. It's just hogging up his internet. He doesn't deny it either. You've all heard that nervous
Exactly.
laugh.
There was.
Give me a second.
There was
Okay.
definitely
Can you hear me?
something in that.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hey,
Now I can see you
there we
too.
go. Now we can see you. Yeah.
Okay. I just realised the power supply I was using for this thing probably wasn't strong enough, so I've just put that in, and it's gone down to. It went down to 2.4. So now just put it back up to 5.
Hey, there we go.
It's
Yeah,
back
go
up to 5.
on. Continue.
Okay. So yeah, basically, tell me if I stop. Basically, we had multiple. Basically, most of the parts of the song were shot in multiple places, unless they were exact transition scenes where I knew it had to be in a specific location. Because the thing is that I needed so many takes of each part of the song. Because there's little things like, maybe I wanted to change something, would the lighting look right going between different parts? So we had like just hours and hours of filming all across like Eastern Tokyo. And one of the biggest things is when you put it together, it's where is their body? Like, so they're dancing to the song, and like you'll find one bit where like Otto started on the beat dancing right to left, and then a bunch of other takes she started dancing left to right. And so all of those takes are now not compatible with each other because rhythmically she's off balance. And then there'll be something where like maybe in one of the scenes, just like Asen moves her hands just one little bit earlier. And so she's just on a different beat, which means you can't then put them together because her arms will appear to bounce back out. And so it was all of that. It was going through the takes, getting the ones where they are exactly lined up, just because I knew they wouldn't be perfect each time. And then each frame, like each transition, what I basically did is I got the frame of the next cut. I put it over the top of the frame before. I made it like half transparent so you could kind of see them over the top of each other, and then just sort of resized it until it fit perfectly.
Yeah.
Moved it back, and then made that a slow effect in the next frame. So, but then that frame has to match with the one afterwards. And so you're doing, and so just the hours of getting all of the frames to sync.
I think people don't realize how much work that is.
Yeah.
It's actually something that makes the video feel a lot more like high quality, or should you say thought through, I would say. So
yeah,
I think my goal with the video is I wanted to do something where, because let's be honest, we give it like a year or two from now, virtually every video just will be employing AI to the hilt. So I wanted to do something where I thought this is kind of, at least for a few years, is AI proof. It's the kind of video where you look at it and you go, okay, clearly that was not made with AI. It's like clearly someone had to do that. And that was one of the things that I wanted the video to look like. I wanted it to look like something where you could tell that someone had done this manually, that there was no cheating going on. And so that's one of the reasons why the concept really appealed to me. And this is to say, I've actually got some clips from the video I tried to make before with the other artist. And that was, again, I was going for the same thing. And in a way, I'm glad that that fell through and I had to redo it this time because just I had better software this time. So it was easier to get it right. But yeah, the video is still not perfect. There were problems putting it together, but I think it looks as good as I could expect, all things considered. And I'm just really proud of that. The song came together. I think a lot of people who follow my channel are not necessarily into rap, and there obviously are there rap portions of this song. But so many people seem to really like what Asen did, and she won over a lot of people who didn't like.
Big fan of Asen. She was, for me, definitely the standout of that whole entire song. I thought she absolutely slayed it.
We are already working on our next song together. We started working on that today. So we're back onto that. Really cool
there you go. She got this announcement. This is why you watch these videos, guys. for the 10 people that have clicked on this.
Yeah, and obviously I think you guys know, working with Otto, I know that she's one of those people you either like her sound or you don't. And I appreciate some people love her, some people it's just not their thing. But for me, like that was just something that
Well,
I had
maybe
to do.
actually I can say something. You haven't seen my reaction to this song as well.
No,
I haven't released it yet. I have done one, yeah. But I was, I was thinking that I think I like Otto's voice more in Caramel Candid, but maybe it's just because I'm used to that, I like that. I like Caramel Candid for their punkness, for their attitude a little bit. And I felt this song, I mean, it's intentionally, I'm sure. I felt this song was a bit calmer overall, a bit, yeah. I don't want to say yeah, I'm kind of think of the word, but like not as intense in a way. So I think I personally that's just my own preference, but I would have preferred like the auto parts even to have a more punk guitar in the background or something like that. Um,
Yeah.
but I also really dig the vibe of the song overall, like it is. So it's not a critique; it's just my personal preference. But
I think my one critique of the whole song is probably I just feel like Otto is probably a tiny little bit too much in high in the mix, and I think when she said
impossible. It should have been a cappella. Just
it should have been. But but obviously
when's first take coming out?
When she goes for those high notes, it really stands out sometimes, and you can really see you really hear her voice in like full
I
depth.
think for me that's kind of like and again I think it's one of those things where it depends on how you feel about her sound. It's interesting what Benedict said there. I'll address that in a second, but yeah, for me, it's difficult because I just want her to be turned up so loud because for me, hearing her voice just makes the song. I just like love the sound of her voice so much. I do agree actually with what Benedict said there, which is that I felt like taking her out of a frantic setting. Because the funny thing is that I was joking that Assen's lyrics are much more in line with what Otto usually does, even though she's rapping and like her lyrics very frantic. There was that bit at the end of the third verse where she like breaks into a full, like her voice breaks and she gives like the full scream, like
yeah, that's
like,
also when I like it the most.
That's a much more Otto thing to do.
Yeah,
that's like a much more. I think that I might have told you before. That's the line where originally Aston sent me. We worked very hard on the third verse because it had to be rhythmically worked with the song, and so me and her sat down and worked on that quite a lot. But what I really liked about that is she just really got everything I wanted her to do in that verse. But the last line, she originally released it as like a little bit of it, and it goes calm, thoughtful. So, and then last chorus, and I said to her, I was like, nah, to be honest, I want it to be the exact opposite of that. And we were trying to explain it. So I said, look, this is what I want you to think of. And I sent her that famous frame from Shawshank Redemption where he's out in the rain. Like, I was like, think like that.
Yeah.
And that's ironically, that's why in the video she does like the look to the sky thing, is because that's like a Shawshank Redemption reference.
Love it.
And yeah, she sent me back this re-recorded version and her voice was cracking and everything. I was like, yeah, that's what I wanted.
I love hands down is probably my favorite part. I love that bit.
I'm really glad. I was wondering how she would feel about doing that, but she just laid it down and it was perfect. And so for me, it was nice because she got to do that and Otto got to do something quite different. And I know it's gonna separate people, but I love the sound of her voice on that song. And when she does those two-part harmonies and keep going, just love it. Just love hearing the harmony in her voice.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to say one more thing about your song in general, because usually it has something very unique about it, a very unique vibe, I would say. Because usually when I'm listening to these songs that have like rap and clean in it, all of them are like a lot heavier in style, and I never have heard it in a way like you did with a more, I don't know, mellow vibe overall. And I had to get used to it a little bit, like, but after listening to the song a couple of times, I really got down with it.
It's interesting. I think
Even though I would still like some more punk guitars in that auto parts.
Yeah. I think for me, like there were parts when I dabbled with heavy guitars, like the original demo from like had much heavier sound to it. But I think one of the reasons why I kept it more like this was because I guess in a way I did want it to have more of a distinct beat. I wanted the beat to cut through and everything. I wanted it to be something where you could bob your head as much as anything else, like the little guitar arpeggios, the da 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 bit on the top. That's like really, that's even more important than the electric guitars playing underneath. So I guess that's just kind of like where, yeah, I don't know. That's just kind of like how it simmered out. I don't think I really thought about it much. It just kind of like worked out like that. But yeah, I'm kind of glad to hear you word it like that because I don't know. I just tried to let the song evolve in its own direction. But yeah, that's a really interesting way of looking at it. I'm gonna have to go back and re-listen to the song myself now. Certainly after watching Neon's reaction, I went back and I listened to the song again. Like I was like, okay. I was kind of like putting that together.
Tech
And then
issues and
someone
all
sent
in
me
my
like a
reaction.
comment underneath saying it reminded me of. Sorry?
There's tech issues and all in my reaction as
What
well.
did you say? Yeah, there was for everyone on the premiere. The premiere went very wrong.
Yeah, how did that go? Like after that, like what was your initial thoughts when that happened?
Like what happened? I don't
So
know what
basically, for
happened.
anyone who doesn't know, when the premiere kicked off, just suddenly it kicked everyone out of the premiere somewhere around the first chorus.
Oh, that
Just
sucks.
kicked everyone out. And so I was like, okay, so I had to go straight into Discord and I was like, everyone quick F5 it. I checked it, it was there. It just had gone just immediately to being a normal live video. So I like told everyone quick F5 it and they were all re-entering and watching, which was great. Everyone managed to. But yeah, I was in straight panic stations. I've been waiting to release this thing. It had been delayed a couple of times. Here we were, communities lined up, everyone's hyped up, and then suddenly the video cuts out. I was like, what the fuck? So yeah, that did not sit well with my nervous system.
Well, maybe you got double the views because everyone had to reload.
Yeah.
Someone said this to me. They were like, "Did you do that on purpose to double the views?" I was like, half the audience retention time, but maybe that was the idea. I don't think it worked on it. But
were the girls in the premiere as well? I mean, what were their initial thoughts over it now, and how are they taking to seeing everybody liking it so far?
Well, the interesting thing is the two girls are so different. Like, I mean, I got them to work together because I felt like they both had like this quintessentially similar quality of being so good at expressing things in like these really beautifully interesting ways. And they're just their voices and their whole expressive way brought them together. But actually, as people and as the musical styles they do, that's opposite. So for me, it's like the perfect combination, two people who have totally different sounds and yeah, at the core are doing something that is the same in a sort of a human perspective, if you like to sound too pretentious. But and so like that was what brought them together, but it's also they are very different people. So like with Asen, who is like extremely extroverted and all up in your face and like just bouncing around like anything, like immediately I'm getting like loads of messages from her like, it's awesome, that's so cool. Like she's like sticking it on playlists and putting clips on her social media and everything. And then Otto, who's like this absolute like monster on stage, but in person, she's like, she's so polite, she's so happy. And so the problem is that like with Asen, you can tell what she means in a text message because it's accompanied by 50,000 emojis. And like, it's like there's no doubt about how she feels. But with Otto, it's like, arigato gozaimasu, that was very nice, thank you, I really enjoyed it. It's like, oh no, are you saying that because you're being polite? No, she did seem to really enjoy it. I know that for her it was quite an experience because she's younger, she's not had any. Asen's got a lot of experience in the music industry, but Otto, this was her first time doing anything outside of Caramel Candid. So I think for her, it was probably a bit of an adjustment period getting used to it, but she was enthusiastic throughout. I know she's already working on some other side projects and things as well. So clearly it sat well with her, but yeah, no, she really enjoyed it, but I can't wait. I'm going to be seeing her at their next show. I'm already booked up to see their next couple of shows, as I always do, of course, Caramel Candid Forever. So as a result, I'm going to enjoy like sharing that moment with her, but the whole band, Caramel Candid, all the members of Caramel Candid were sending little messages and everything. So they really enjoyed it in their usual sort of like polite, enthusiastic way, but just they were so sweet about it. Yeah. So they enjoyed it, but just the way they expressed it was so totally different. Now we've got 9 minutes left on the free version of Zoom, which means I
We're
do
not
want to talk about.
worthy.
Sorry, I didn't do it. I didn't. I do want to talk about Neon Song, but here's the thing.
Yes.
Neon Song came out when I was like intensely working on the video and everything I was working on, and I did not know he'd released this. In fact, if you'd spoken about it, I thought you must have thought you were talking about the song you
Kind
did
of
with Benedict.
secretly put it out.
Yeah.
So I know nothing about this, and apparently you just kind of sleeked it out like a fart in an elevator, just like this. Just don't tell anyone.
That was mean.
I like what I know.
Sorry, yeah, I did just refer to myself
Your
as being a
song
fart.
sounds like a fart in an elevator.
Most people would probably agree with that.
I said you sneaked it out like a fart in an elevator. I didn't say it
Okay.
was.
That's fine.
But it still stinks.
Bizarre.
Benedict is just burying me under all this terrible stuff.
I have to actually say
is...
I'm quite impressed by that song. I also heard a new song. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to tease it, Neon, but I'm just gonna do it, so you will put it out. I think both of these songs, they sound really great, like just the overall sound of it. Didn't expect, first of all, I didn't expect such a modern production and sound overall.
Thank you.
I think these heavier parts really have a certain punch to it that I'm not able to get in my own stuff.
How would you describe it to someone like me in the audience who might not have heard it before because he hasn't told anyone?
Like what kind of music it is, or
yeah,
what?
How would you describe this song? How would you sell it?
It was quite unexpected.
I don't know.
To me, Leon, you can explain.
Yeah, when I create a song, I don't know what I'm going to do when I go into it. There's loads of songs that I have that I haven't released, which are like full on, like Howard just said, like screaming till like the song goes home, heavy guitars, heavy drops, all that stuff. And then sometimes I get on some days and I'm like, all right, let's start on something, and it starts with like a simple beat, a simple melody. I think my song creation reflects my music taste, which is, like I said, extremely varied. I like pretty much
I will ask you something about that.
So do you do vocals on this as well? Has it got neon vocals?
Yeah, it's got neon vocals. I
also
tried
cleans.
to do also cleans, but I heavily put effects over it. Hide the
fact
that my cleans are
That's
crap.
one thing. I was listening to this and I'm like, is this neon? Is this another collab with some guy that I don't know? Because I would have never guessed this is you, apart from the screaming parts.
Yeah,
it sounds like a Hannah Beer song from the way you're describing it.
Oh no, not anywhere near that intense. I
wanted to ask you something because you just said like it's heavily inspired by this stuff that you listen to, obviously, like all of our music. But like these calmer parts with the cleans, where it's just basically that simple beat and these heavily affected vocals on top. It kind of really reminded me of something that I don't like at all, which is that modern hip hop style, where it's just like they are just rambling along kind of to a beat. But very big but. Then the heavy parts came in and I was like, okay, I totally get it, because you kind of need the slow parts.
Oh my god, I need to hear this song now. This sounds way too
the heavy
interesting.
parts really kick in, but yeah.
Oh my god, I need to hear this song. What
you should listen to it. I found it very interesting.
What's it called, by the way? Could you tell us, just so that people can check it out?
It's called Rise Against the Gods. The whole
it will be linked below.
Yeah, go and check it out. Please don't. But the inspiration behind the song was obviously like in my head anyway, was like mortals rising up against their gods that have pretty much like forsaken them and taking control over their own destiny. That's the theme of that song. And like I said, I came in, when I create something, I don't kind of know what I'm doing, to be honest. It just, I kind of go with what feels right. And this kind of, like Benedict said, it kind of went a bit hip-hoppy, a little bit. I tried it with cleans first, but I make no secret that my cleans are nowhere near the best. I'm dead self-conscious about it. So I know. So
by cleans, you mean singing?
Singing, yeah. Attempted singing. So this is why I layer the fuck out of my vocals with effects to kind of hide the fact that I'm there.
I know that.
Although fun fact, this is the first ever song I ever used auto-tune on. So Yeah.
I was wondering that as well. And I
Yeah.
think that's also kind of what gave me that weird vibe. I think if you just left that out,
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
would
I maybe
better for
came in
me.
too hard with the auto tune a little bit.
Is it
on the
like a
first-
passcode thing going on? We get like a passcode vibe in this song.
I don't know.
Not really.
It's its own kind of thing. Um,
Yeah.
like every
That
song.
you can only hear it with him. It doesn't sound like any other
Yeah.
artist. You've got to check it out. Link in the description below.
I wouldn't even know who to
Like all of
compare
our
it
songs, so unique. Check it out.
So yeah.
Speak
go
for
do
yourself.
it. So I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even know what to compare it to be honest. I just kind of do what I do. I mean, Benedict's heard like because me and him were chatting when we were doing the collab. Like he's heard plenty of my songs and he knows how fucking varied
Yeah.
I am. I just kind of do what I feel like when I go into it. I don't really go in with a particular vision. I just like, all right, this feels right, and then I find one thing I like, and then I expand it from there, and I go from there. Like compared to this song that I dropped, I'm working on my next song, which is like purely electronic, which even Benedict was surprised with. Like Benedict's the only one. Tease
Neon's
Benedict.
Kraftwerk moment comes next.
Yeah, and
But
which
it sounds good. I mean,
but it's actually
not gonna lie.
it's actually taken from an earlier song that I did, which was with dark neon beats, which I used to open my Twitch streams with. I created that song with the beats, and I used that. So this is like a second variation of that, where I was just sat there and I was like, oh, what can I do? And then I saw this song these beats that I hadn't touched in like 3 years, and I was like, let's see if I can tweak this a little bit, and it's kind of become its own separate song now.
Kind of inspiring me to rework my very old songs as well.
Yeah.
They sounded like shit, but they were actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what this one is. This is just a rework of a really old song that I did. Like if anybody's here who hangs out on my Twitch streams, the really old folks that will know what I'm talking about from that beat. But that was something I was really hyped about, and that was my first kind of foray into like electronic beat in music. I've always been I love metal music, but I also like electronic synths, like the cyberpunk element of music.
Just not future funk.
No future funk, unfortunately. But like I quite like that dark, gritty beats, and that's kind of what I was kind of going for. Now, this song that I released was an old song that I hadn't touched in like 2 years, so it's like 2 years old when I posted it the other day, and that was just because I was inspired by actually Benedict. Benedict's been posting all his songs, and I have this catalog of songs in my backlog. And I was like, oh, you know what? Go on, and we'll just release one, and we'll see.
Honestly, for me, it's just I have this idea, and then I need to put it out before I can set my mind to something else.
For me, it's the complete opposite. I'm just dead self-conscious, so I just was like, I
put it out there, work on the next thing.
Yeah. And then obviously I was like, oh, I'm so glad it's out. I was so happy, and then I read the comments on Benedict's video, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, really, man. You cannot take this too hard. It's just actually comments like, I usually don't listen to stuff like this, but
the worst part
for the
is
songs, stuff like that. It's actually a big compliment, I would say, for my viewers.
Well, all I would say is remember to keep your ears.
Yes.
Is this video done already? Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Yes, we kind of ran out of time.
I'm glad I only got
check out our songs, guys.
Check out the songs. Like, subscribe. I think that's it.
Is it? Oh, thank